I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. The Women Awakening is really about us changing the planet, our lives, our communities, one woman at a time. I believe this is a time of women emerging, that we're all here to do incredible things. And so the more awakened we are, the more powerful and the stronger we become. And so I get to introduce you to amazing women that inspire me, women that are change makers on the planet. And my desire for you is that you take away the wisdom that they're imparting, because they're all spectacular. So my guest today is Misa Hopkins. She's been a pioneer in the field of feminine consciousness and sound healing for over 20 years, and is a 5 times best-selling author. She's made multiple television appearances and has spoken at events with such luminaries as Deepak Chopra, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Larry Dossey, Deborah Poneman, and Ariel Ford. Misa's powerful mystical initiations in both feminine and masculine sacred energies inspire her to further personal and planetary healing through balanced consciousness. Most of all, she believes in each person's innate ability to heal and awaken to the life of their dreams. Well, Misa, welcome. I am so grateful that you're here.
I'm so thrilled to be here, and I'm so looking forward to what this conversation unfolds today.
Yeah, so, a lot of times we look at successful people and we think, oh, wow, they never had to go through anything to get there. They just popped into success, and they had some magical formula. But I'd like to know your background, where you came from, because and then we'll talk about what you're doing today, but what is your background that could open the possibility for all of this?
I'm so glad you spoke to this. I'm in a film that's coming out soon, and that's exactly what Stephanie wanted us to talk about. Is okay. So you're doing this seemingly really great work in the world, but where did you come from? And I think you're right. It's vital. For me, my journey really began in the bathroom with tears streaming down my face, looking at myself because my body was a mess. I'd been sick for 7 years and no doctor could tell me what was going on. And I looked at that woman in the mirror and I said, I don't know how, but we are going to heal. You and I are doing this. And it was a complete commitment. Fortunately, just after that, I was in the car with a friend of mine and she started describing my symptoms. And I'm like, oh my God, you're the first person ever. She got me to an endocrinologist, thankfully, and we discovered I was producing as much testosterone as a teenage boy.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I mean, when your female organs start atrophying, it's very painful. It's very disorienting emotionally. It was tough. But the gift was that in addition to having a really great doctor to work with, I also started paying attention to what was happening emotionally in me. And I asked this question: why has my body broken faith with my femininity?
oh, great question.
And that led me on a very deep, deep journey with some amazing, amazing, beautiful women who could hold space for women in trauma, right? Recovering from trauma, which is what I finally figured out. And eventually I came to understand that I had suppressed memories about having been sexually abused. So in my mind, my little mind as a child, right? It's not a good thing to be a woman. That's not a cool thing. So at the time my husband and I were thinking about having children, my body started shutting down. Like, we're not doing that.
Right, right. Well, I love that you're sharing this, because something similar happened to me. I was in my 30s when the memories started coming back. And I was grateful that my mother was still alive, because when I started asking questions, she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you remember that. You were so young.
Mm.
And so, isn't it interesting how the body will protect you?
Yeah,
and not always wonderful, joyous ways, but it will take care of you until you can take care of it.
that's a great way to put it. That's exactly right. Yeah, and it takes that moment of truth with yourself to realize that you and your body are one.
Yes,
They're one, and there's a reason your body's reacting the way it's reacting, and it needs your love and it needs your attention.
exactly. So your passion today is
Oh, awakening the feminine, right? Because that was my journey. I'm like, wait a minute, I was getting the masculine down real well. I could have taught daytimer courses, I was micromanaged. I had masculine perspectives. I was great in that arena, but my feminine energy, I knew very, very little about. And Cynthia, I was so blessed because at one point in my journey, I decided to go on a cruise in Egypt with about 300 other healers and psychics.
wow.
Uh, Totally amazing. And the energy was very high. People were having Kundalini experiences and experiences of awakening. And well, there were several moments, but the profound one that has lingered with me and that is now a part of my work is that I spent a period of time in Egypt for 24 hours, which is a long time when you're in states of awakened consciousness. 24 hours, I was absolute yin energy,
Wow.
yin essence. So I was darkness. I could hardly move. I could hardly walk without somebody's help. I could barely speak. The energy was so slow, so still, and so encompassing of all life, everything that has been, could be, will be, won't be, but is potential. That's the space that I was. And it's a deep, abiding love. And I
Right.
now refer to that space as the primordial womb of all life. And the Chinese have described it for thousands of years as yin, as
Yeah.
yin. So as I'm helping women, which is my work today, deepen into what divine feminine essence is, I'm asking them to go very deep into that primordial womb. They
Right.
may connect with goddesses along the way. They'll connect with creativity. They'll connect with intuition and the dream time, all the attributes that we're becoming familiar with now, and emotions as sacred feminine essence. And I'm inviting them to go right into that womb of creation where they truly recreate themselves and be in a state of complete acceptance of who and what they are right now in the experience they're having right now.
Wow, that's really, really powerful. I just finished my women's conference and we did a lot on reinvention and recreation. And I guess the thing is, it's like a lot of us are afraid to go there.
Mhm.
A lot of us are afraid, that we'll lose control, that we'll be lost, that we'll be overpowered. And so, what do you tell women, you know, to start taking those small steps to reclaiming themselves?
Mm. You know, the thing that I like to invite them is to consider that space, that darkness that you emerge into a little differently than perhaps we've been taught how to think about it. We have a lot of association since, as far as I've been able to trace it in Western culture, back to the 1100s, where we began associating darkness with evil, less than, right? Not as good. In fact, I just took my advanced class through a series of artwork from the medieval times where artists began depicting individuals who were less than spiritual, shall we say, as dark skinned.
Hmm.
And they would depict Jesus, for example, the apostles, they were in light skin and light. And here was Judas, dark skinned, right? Or the devil, completely black. And so we've created these associations that say, well, dark is not as good, less than, even evil.
Yes.
And because we've created that association, When we talk about things like Carl Jung was suggesting that we go into the shadow side, we associate shadow with what is bad.
Right.
And we forget the rest of what he said, which is there in what is hidden. You'll find what you're afraid of, and you'll find your qualities and your nature, your primal nature. I would add your spiritual gifts and your connection to the very birth of you as a divine being is there. But what I find is that women are afraid because of what we've associated with the darkness.
Yes.
And yet
Yes.
it's our essence. And there are sacred scriptures throughout the world that speak to all life coming from that watery darkness.
Well, yes, and we've been enculturated for centuries to not think that we're powerful, to not think that we're brilliant, to not think that we're creative, and that we can be in leadership. And um, so that's running in tandem with what you just said. So I guess the thing though is like when you look at women, what do you think is the biggest um, barrier to them absolutely claiming their power?
Yeah, I find that there are three constructs that women struggle with. Feelings of they're afraid. It always has to do with fear. And the major fears are rejection, unworthiness, and abandonment.
Mhm.
If I am who I truly am, something bad is going to happen. And we set that up, that we don't set it up per se, but it occurs in our childhood, right? There's some moment when we tried to shine, we tried to be our best, we tried to be what was beautiful about us. And I think of that expression, by the way, as masculine energy. So when I use the word shine, it's action, it's expressive energy. You're trying to be that. And you felt rejected, you felt abandoned, you felt as though somehow you were unworthy because of intentional messages around you or unintentional messages. And in your little mind, you picked it up. It
Yes.
means I shouldn't do those things. And I find that as women really reclaim their feminine essence, that they have a capacity to hold all of it. That's what that yin energy is. You can hold it all. And as you love it, there are two things that happen. One, the energies you're most afraid of start relaxing and unwinding.
Yeah.
And what you love about yourself starts expanding. The qualities that you love about yourself
Yes.
expand in the presence of that love. And if we will allow ourselves to hold our doubts and our fears and allow ourselves to heal the little children inside of us where those got started, oh my gosh, now you've got energy to
Right.
go and trust and faith in yourself as an expression of the divine.
Well, and also, doesn't that open a portal for the harmonic convergence of the masculine and the feminine within you? And when I was reading in your bio, that feminine and masculine sacred energies are important to you. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, when I came back from Egypt, I think the creator was really working with me with some specifics here, because I went into an experience through a doorway of sound into absolute pure white light. And that was about an hour. And if you've ever been in that energy, that's a long time. So I think Spirit was making sure I was really clear about these energies. You aren't going to get to deny them at all. And pure light expression, pure light. And as you know, I work with sound. And again, these are the ancient scriptures that show us. I've been taken into mystical moments with them. The first expression of the awareness of consciousness was sound as I know it,
Mhm.
and then light. That pure white light racing through the darkness is what I was shown and what I became. And that expression is blissful and it's ecstatic and it's joyful. So when we are that capacity to hold ourselves in our suchness as we are with all the love that we are, and we are willing and choosing to be that expression of our joy, of what gets us going and gets us excited about life. We are in a marriage.
Right.
We're in a beautiful marriage of those two energies, whether we're a woman or a man. And that's when we come alive. There's this beautiful, clear space where we just don't need to linger in the doubts anymore
Yeah,
and the fears.
absolutely.
And we're just that pure expression because what else could we be? And we are that ever present love that I know as that yin holding that holds us all. Always. We're both of those things all the time. We're not one or the other. And we don't have to flip either. You
Right.
just are all of it, always.
Well, and accepting who you are, you said that earlier, being present with who you are in the moment and honoring it is so important. Well, before I ask you our last question, I want people to know how to find you because I know you have offerings and classes and you have a summit and so let the audience know how to find you.
Well, the best place to go is to pick up a meditation, a holding meditation,
Mm.
where I take you into that yin experience, invite you in, I guess would be a better way to say it. And you can get that at sacredfemininawakening.com. And it'll give you an opportunity to experience what I'm talking about for yourself, to be invited into that most sacred space. And from there on, then, yes, lots of opportunities. We have a summit coming up called Amazing Relationships.
Mm.
And you're in it. So come listen to Cynthia. Amazing relationships with yourself, your partner, your family, your community, and the divine. And the wisdom there is powerful, really, really powerful. And I know you all know that because you listen to Cynthia. So you know what kind of great wisdom is there for you.
Thank you. So I always ask the same last question of every guest. What is the one thing you want women to know about awakening?
It is an act of choosing. At the end of my full moon ceremonies, there's a blessing for every woman. And the blessing is this: may you become a woman of your choosing.
Mm. We'll
That
say
we
that
are
again.
woman of your choosing. And what I find that the women respond to in that is there's this invitation to let go of anything, any limit that says, oh, this is the way I am, this is the way it has to be, this is the way it's always been. There's permission to let go and to choose. And in that choosing, the infinite mystery just comes right in and around you and carries you to the experiences, both in the mystical realms and in the physical realms, the emotional and the mental realms that are going to be perfect for you. And you feel that blessing. So that would be my wish for every woman, that you become a woman of your choosing.
Incredibly beautiful. I love that. So I'm just going to invite you to breathe that in, ladies, because that's deep wisdom that just got handed to you. So, Misa, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for saying yes to your calling on the planet.
Mm.
I want to say thank you for being willing to go into those places that were unknown and uncharted. And then you get to guide the rest of us to come with you.
My honor, and to be guided, which is what I love about feminine energy. It's so circular. As one woman holds her hand out saying, here, I can help you, someone else is holding out her hand to you. And thank you for today, Cynthia. I so respect and love you.
Thank you. Same here. So, ladies, I guess I want to just say thank you so much for being here. We do these every week and you get to meet these amazing women. But I guess I want to leave you with this thought. You get to choose to remember that you're powerful, that you're dynamic, that you're mighty, that you're a manifestation of the divine, that you're here by a divine appointment, that you're a unique expression and imprint. Only you can do what you came here to do. If you can just take that in and move into this next phase of your life, something magical will happen because that's how the universe works. I'm so grateful to be your host, and I will see you next time. Many blessings.